Hey now, it's Sharon. I'm back to share another idea on how to better the police. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my ideas, my experiences, my perspectives on what I saw in policing, some in my military experience, also what I saw, what I observed, what I went through, in order to help retool policing, if you will. I didn't say abolish, but retool. And I figure starting on the individual basis, meaning the individual officer, we can start to change some of the dynamics and the functioning of police. And so with that being said, I shared some ideas last week on officer self-care, and I wanted to kind of continue on that road. And I wanted to talk about lazy officers. I've talked about lazy officers in other videos, and this particular lazy officer fails up. Excuse me. Failing up, and the point I want to talk about in failing up are the officers that don't take any other training during the year except for in-service, because you have to take that in order to stay certified as a police officer. I'm talking about that officer failing up. And I am of the opinion that if you don't take any other training during the year, self-initiate some other training, you don't really want the job. You just want the paycheck. As the world is growing and the communities are growing and getting bigger, different people are starting to live together and come together, you as an officer, you're out there in it. And you not wanting to know, I am of the opinion, if you don't take training, you don't want to know. You don't want to know how to better police, how to show up and be the best officer that you can be if you're not taking training, to know other communities, to learn about other cultures, to learn about de-escalation and things like that. If you're not doing that, you don't need to wear the uniform. You don't. And I found there were a lot of officers like that. They didn't care to take the training. They just wanted the uniform and the badge and the gun, because the second or third jobs that they have pay more than the actual job of policing. And that was their only motivation. So I suggest, in my plan I wrote about this, in a survey, just ask officers, what training have they taken for the year? What training would they like to take for the year? Give them 6 months to do it and allow them to do it, because there was a lot of times I wanted to take training and it would get denied. And I think the only reason why early in my career was because I was a producer. You know, people say it's a quota. We call it producing, earning a paycheck. I got to show through arrest and putting people in jail that I'm working. People say it's a quota. That's the simple definition. But yeah, just do a simple survey and ask people, what training have you taken in the last 2 years? And if they don't have any training except for in-service, that could be a problem. And when I say failing up, those are the same officers that are going to make detective, sergeant, lieutenant with no experience. I shouldn't say no experience. I'll just say not wanting to know. And to me, that's a level of closed-mindedness that shouldn't exist in policing. How are you going to better supervise your own people when you haven't taken any other training? How are you going to deal with the public if you haven't taken any additional training? You came in on training from the early 90s. It is now 2024, and you still have certain ideas in your head. Training allows you to see a different perspective, if you will, hear different ideas, and then produce your own from that to better police. Because the reason why you take training is to show up and be your better self in that uniform. So yeah, just identify the officers that haven't taken any training, allow them to take the training, even maybe incentivize it by giving them comp time if they take certain different types of training that have to do with the community, if you will. bettering the community, like community policing type initiative. Do something like that. And I think we can start to shift the mindset around policing and the mindset within policing. And that's all I want to share with you. If you're new to the channel, take a look at our online store. The link is in the description. And I'll come back next week with another idea. And for now, as is our tradition, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.